I completely understand HBCU graduates who are like, no, y'all made your choice. You made your choice and you want to get all this stuff and all this stuff? No. If you've been on Twitter for as long as I have, you know that back in the old Twitter days, it was very regular for there to be real, serious, hardcore, aggressive debates about HBCU versus PWI. People were getting dragged. You're getting called out of your name. We are back to the good old days where we're debating HBCUs versus the PWI experience and who gets access to what and who gets to participate in what. And wow, I wish we didn't have to come back here. The most recent debate about this was started by a young woman who goes to USC, who posted on her Twitter account that she formed USC's first majorette group. Oh, nothing. I created a majorette team at a PWI and performed at our first game. Truly, though, I'm so blessed and can't thank God enough. Thank you to my parents and to everyone who supported me along this long journey. And my girls, Fire, the Cardinal Divas of SC, are up next. 12.3 thousand retweets, 3,600 quote tweets, 94.9 thousand likes. Says just a Chicago girl with big dreams, always been one for my culture. Now, of course, people weren't just going to let that go. No, it's not just going to be happy congratulations, girl. There's definitely going to be some discourse about it. There's been a few interesting thoughts that I've seen here, both for and against it. This is Brittany Danielle, a journalist who went to USC. She says USC has a history of all Black dance teams. When I was there coffee years ago, we had a group called the Fly Girls. Glad to see the tradition continuing and growing. Yes, even at a PWI. Fight on. The HBCU gatekeepers need to hear this. Majorettes and all Black dance groups isn't just HBCU culture, it's Black culture. No, it's HBCU culture. The part all of y'all are missing is that the band is a large part of this. I'm sure USC will change what they play and their style to fit this, which means all the whites will now be pretending to be an HBCU band. Now, that's a fair point. And Brittany says, no one is missing this, but also thanks to HBCUs, Black dance teams and majorette groups are all over the country, especially in Black communities. I grew up with drill teams all over the city, and I'm from LA. We had competition, so folks are bringing it with them to college too. All right, there's more. I think the issue for the rational people is that they may be worried that by bringing it to a PWI, it opens up to be co-opted and appropriated very easily. It's boxer braids all over again. But if that's the case, then shouldn't D9 only be at HBCUs? Well, I mean, not all of the D9 organizations were not founded at HBCUs. FD Signifier had some thoughts about this. I'm not here for HBCU elitism, but Black folks that went to PWI is going to catch every bit of shade whenever they try to co-opt HBCU traditions that they're not paying back student loans for. I'm about to just start wearing UGA gear and yelling, "Go Dogs." If y'all don't rep y'all new 5-star football recruit and stop acting like you stood in line for registration. Funny. That's funny to me. Oh, you know what this also makes me think of? Ooh, there was a girl who not too long ago made some TikTok about Cornell for the first couple of weeks feeling like an HBCU. We got to find that.
Our city is an HBCU in my mind. Let me explain. Even though it's only like 8% Black here, it's a pretty big school and you see Black people everywhere you go. The Black Student Union has so many events, and there's a whole Black residence hall. It's called Ujama, or Ujama, however you pronounce it. This school is known as the Social Justice Ivy. If you wanted to be around only Black people your whole entire experience here, you can definitely do that. I don't really recommend it, but it's possible. I've been here for about 2 weeks, and so far I didn't feel the well-known imposter syndrome. Maybe because I'm a tad bit entitled to academic spaces, I feel as though all Black women should be. I feel really safe here. The crimes here are not too dangerous where I feel. Like, I want to go home. And I've only been catcalled here like one time. I've heard the winters here are tough though, so I won't speak on that yet. If you're thinking about applying to Cornell as a Black person, especially as a Black woman, I definitely think you should.
What I will say is, I always talk about, I had a very Black time in my undergraduate life. All of the friends basically that I made in college and are my best friends to this day met in college, lived with all Black women. My degree is in African American studies. So a good 85% of the instructors that I had, both tenured faculty and teacher, we call them TFs, but y'all call them TAs, Black people. It was not an HBCU experience. I had to do a lot of work to make my undergraduate experience that Black and that loving and caring. And still to this day, I'm in contact still with my favorite professors from undergrad, and they care about me and I care about them and they're cheering me on. That took a lot of work. That does not just happen. Not only does it not just happen, but when I talk to my array of Black women friends, they're like, girl, no. We came together for respite. We came together for connection and community, because in organic chemistry or in psychology or in the English department or whatever else, like, it was not. That is to say that those of us who are intentional about where we choose to pay our money and enroll and, the merch and shit that we choose to rep, have to be real careful about not trying to have your cake and eat it too. Yeah. Everything is political, right? Every choice you make is a political choice. Choosing to go to USC, political choice. Choosing to go to Cornell, political choice. Choosing to go to Howard, political choice. Choosing to go to Morehouse, right? And I understand that there are all kinds of things that inform those choices. Financial aid, where in the country do you want to live? I always said I'm not cut out to go to HBCUs because I have too many rules. I'm not good with rules. There's all of these things that are influencing, but once you make that choice, you got to stand on that choice, beloved. Stand on it. But also, another reason why some of us who choose to attend PWIs, especially well-resourced PWIs like USC and like Cornell, is because we understand that there is a very serious stratification, not only in resources, but also in how those universities are viewed in the mainstream. And we want to tap into that privilege. We want to exploit that privilege. And we want to exploit that privilege while maintaining cultural connection, while building community, while finding groups of friends and finding mentors who look like us and love us and want to pour into us. But you made your choice. And so I completely understand HBCU graduates who are like, no, y'all made your choice. You made your choice and you want to get all this stuff and all this stuff? No. Stand up in it. No. Because again, the idea that this is Black culture and not HBCU culture, we got to have some more conversations. I've talked about this before, about how the internet, because we are all seeing all of the same things, we're all dipping into the same buckets, in and out of the same conversations, watching the same videos, that there is a cultural flattening that allows us to obscure distinct histories. HBCUs, I'm a daughter of a Tuskegee graduate. HBCUs have a distinct history and culture, and we all don't just get to say that's mine. We don't. Saying you don't get to say that's yours doesn't mean you can't love Blackness. Of course you can still love Blackness. You can still love and appreciate the culture. The other thing about the co-optation point, the appropriation point, that is real, because there's only so much gatekeeping that you can do at a PWI legally. Yeah. How many years is it going to be before it's white girls in box braids on the USC majorette squad? Not too long. I give it 5 years. I give it a couple years. If we want to see a little bit about what is being referenced here, Bring It, the show Bring It on Lifetime, which I used to love. They really give it
I don't just jump in the air and do this.
Oh my gosh, this is bringing about memories because I used to love this show. Okay. Okay, so I was actually really into it. I forgot I was, oh, this is it. This is the thing that was going viral. Okay, we'll stop it. I was gonna let it play because I'm just legitimately enjoying it. Like I'm really into it. I feel like it's good and like charismatic and they're gorgeous and the costumes are beautiful. Like I'm so into that in their little, 1950s hairstyles, giving Coretta's night out. You know what I'm saying? Oh, baby. Yeah, no, look, the HBCU girls got it. They do. When you got it, you can't hide it. And they got it. Like, that's special. It's special. So I just feel like, let's just leave it alone. Let them do that. Because that's no shade to what is clearly a sincere, earnest desire to celebrate Blackness, to bring Black women in particular together. Like, I'm not saying that the intention is wrong. I think it's really right and understandable. Do I think that one day we're gonna wake up and the USC dance squad is gonna be all white? No. But I do think that if there's 10 people on the dance squad, we could easily wake up and see 3 out of 10. Yeah. I also have to think about the fact that I am old. I'm on the old side of young. People are always saying, don't call yourself old. I'm on the old side of young. I have to think about the change in culture that has happened in the 15 years since I was a freshman in college. I have noted all the time that now that Black culture, hip hop culture is mainstream culture, now, because we have social media, and again, everything is flattened, and we've seen the blackfishing era that we're transitioning out of, but it's always going to be there. I actually think that there's the potential for much more easier co-optation that will go unquestioned. That's the other thing. I do think that it's possible that it's so normal, the desire. I think young people don't really understand like how segregated things used to be. I'm not old, but things used to be real segregated. I think it's much more normal to people who are under 22, that desire. That's how we make sure that erasure doesn't happen, is we say, okay, we like this thing, or we feel a connection to this thing, or I'm drawn to this thing, but this thing comes from here. And that's our responsibility to the different kinds of cultures that we interact with. Citation. Even Miss D on Bring It will always say, this comes from these institutions. And she's much closer to those institutions. I mean, literally down the street, the dancing dolls. So I think that, man, it's because I've been reading Stuart Hall recently. This idea that Black people cannot misappropriate the cultural productions of other Black people is just wrong. And that's how we get to the kinds of exploitation, commodification, and erasure that we criticize other people of doing to us. The other thing about this, there's the conversation about Beyonce Homecoming. Man, I could literally rewatch all of Homecoming, but we don't have time. We don't have time, girl. But I did a whole video about standing Homecoming. So what makes what Beyonce does different? I would say citation. I would say who's getting paid. I would say who's getting centered and uplifted. It's so careful and intentional, giving all of these people props and opportunity and money. That feels different to me, like a true homage. Now, there's always conversations. We don't have time to get into the Beyonce appropriation conversation because that comes up over and over again, and people can definitely debate it, and people definitely have with Renaissance and with Homecoming, but I'm saying it feels different to me. So, that's that on that. My final word is let's leave it alone. There are so many ways for us to celebrate Black women, celebrate Blackness, commune. I think that the costs and the consequences are not worth the rewards. It's not worth the return. No.